21st, 2021, Kenya made a remarkable history. For the first time since independence, we had the first Lady Justice. This is Chief Justice and the President of the Supreme Court, Martha Koome, inheriting an institution carrying immense constitutional responsibility, tasks with safeguarding the rule of law, defending judicial independence, and delivering justice to millions of Kenyans. Today, I have a considerable pleasure of sitting down with Lady Justice Martha Koome to take a stock of her tenure, of course, 5 years down the line. And I want to invite you to take this journey with us, looking at the highs and the lows in the corridors of justice. Lady Justice, thank you very much for consenting, first of all, to be part of this conversation this afternoon.
Thank you for inviting me.
5 years it has been. You know how time really flies.
It does.
Did you expect to be sitting here today and taking stock of the 5 years?
By the grace of God. Yes, I am, first of all, absolutely grateful to Kenyans for having trusted me to be the first female Chief Justice to take over the office of the Chief Justice as the 15th Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya. So I'm eternally grateful to Kenyans for that. And I promise to serve them, and I continue to serve them with absolute dedication to ensure we uphold the Constitution, we uphold the rule of law, and we ensure that we move with all Kenyans, empowering them to know their rights and where to claim their rights if they are being violated. The courts are there for them, and we have what we call the multi-door approach, where we are doing court-annexed mediation, alternative justice system, as an alternative to the formal justice system. So this journey, I'm not walking alone. We are walking with the Kenyans because justice, as they say, comes from God, and it belongs to all of us. All of us must experience justice. Justice is a lived reality. Yes,
I like that.
For all of us.
Indeed, justice is a lived reality. So from your own accurate appraisement, then, do you look at it and see that justice has become more accessible under your leadership?
Indeed, it has, in many ways. Because when I came in office, we did not have the small claims court. We only had one small claims court which had been opened in Nairobi at Milimani, which was a pilot court. One small claims court with 4 adjudicators. Today, we have 55 small claims courts in many of our court stations, with over 120 adjudicators. When I came in office, we only had 61 judges. Today, we have 115 judges of the High Court. We have increased the judges exponentially. We have recruited more magistrates. I have seen over 200 magistrates onboarded since I came in office. We have expanded the footprints of the High Court. When I came, we were only in 41 counties, and now we are in 46 counties. And even the 47th, we are operating a registry, about also to send a judge in Baringo. We have also expanded the magistrates' courts. When I took over office in 2021, we had 127 magistrates' courts. Today, there are 147. So we have increased another 20 magistrates' courts.
Yes.
Another exponential growth is in the area of technology. When I came in office, technology was operating only in Nairobi, Milimani Commercial Court as a pilot, in the commercial court and in the family division. Today, we are online, all the court stations in the Republic. Indeed, we are ahead of the entire government system. It is the judiciary that has embraced technology more than any other government agency. You can file your cases online. You don't have to go to the registry to file a case, to fix a date, or even to take directions. Most matters are also disposed virtually because we have virtual hearings, except for the complex criminal cases and land matters. Most of the other cases can be handled virtually. So technology has become an enabler to access to justice. And we are leaving no one behind, even where we have technological divide, because you know Kenyans in the rural areas may not be able to have the internet or the smartphone. We allow them to use the Huduma Center to access our services, or if you can just bring yourself in court, because we say the courts were there to access justice. So even with technology, if you are challenged in any way and appear in court, we will use our kiosk or our facility, whatever facility it is, to assist you with the online filing and any service that you require from the court, we will assist you. So we leave no one behind, even those who are technologically challenged.
Right. You assumed office, during the rigors and the crucible of COVID-19.
Indeed.
And I wonder, how a challenge was it then? And did it also exacerbate you now really going full throttle online and digitizing the entire system of the judiciary?
It was really a challenge. I can say, without any fear of contradiction, that I took over office at a time of a crisis. We had COVID-19. It was during the COVID-19 pandemic in May 2021 when I took office. And therefore, the courts had closed for public hearings because it was going to be a super spreader for the COVID-19, bringing prisoners, bringing members of public, bringing judges. Like that time I was in the Court of Appeal, sitting 3 of you, was a challenge. We were not even allowed to handle paper because when you brought the paper might be carrying the virus. It was a very difficult time. And people suffered. We all suffered. There was so much pain and suffering. We lost people. But like I say, people say everything happens for a reason. There was a silver lining for the judiciary because over the years we were struggling to embrace technology as an enabler to expedite the services that we render. But what COVID did is that we had to look for ways innovatively to discharge justice. I remember I was in the Court of Appeal and we started by doing cases on WhatsApp. The 3 judges would link up on WhatsApp. We've been sent documents on our email address. We read them, we read the papers, the pleadings. Then we get on WhatsApp, the 3 of us, discuss the case, conference, and write a judgment and deliver it on email. Soon we discovered then there were other platforms we could use like Zoom, Teams, and GOtv. And we became more technical savvy that way through the problem of COVID that we could not meet. But now we have progressed until now we have virtual courts that are stable. And we are recording also the daily proceedings through a centralized transcription center As a matter of fact, in a few weeks, we are going to launch a National Transcription Center where all the proceedings that are conducted online are transcribed overnight. And this is a process or a program we've been piloting with our proceedings, and we've been using AI for transcription. We have developed our own tool of AI that recognizes the way we speak, and that is centered on just what we do, does not go outside Kenya law or our case tracking system, our CTS. But I'll be speaking more on that when we launch the National Transcription Center.
All right.
But what I'm trying to say...
When are we likely to launch it?
In August.
In August, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, end of August. We are near there.
All right.
Yes. So what I'm trying to say is that judiciary is not being left behind.
Yes. Is in the AI bandwagon as well.
Yes, but trying to have a human aspect of it, and because AI cannot replace what judges do, but it can help us in terms of research when we direct it to research for us within our Kenya law and within our case tracking system so that it doesn't go all over. And there's always a human aspect.
Indeed.
Also to help us with the case management, organizing information and all that.
Right, which really orients my thoughts also as you're talking about AI.
Yeah.
Allow me just to plumb deeper into it. When we're talking about also the ethical use of AI. Because we've had other jurisdictions where we've had judges also consulting with AI to give judgments.
We don't.
So I was just wondering, are we crafting something around that so that at least we have an ethical use of AI?
We started on the less dangerous zone, like transcription, and there is always the human aspect of it, because the human will have to confirm these were the proceedings that were recorded. Somebody is always on the earphone, and as it is doing its work, you're confirming that what it is transcribing is actually what went on. Nothing is being important to our proceedings. And we are developing a AI policy, which guides which ways and what aspects of AI can we use. And we are developing our own tool. We are not just going to rely on Google or, other AI tools that are available. We are developing our own, which is targeting just the areas that we work and the areas of research where we want it to assist us. Yeah.
Good traction. Thank you very much. Let me just now turn the conversation a bit maybe to the issue of gender. And I know it has been a big conversation, especially here in the country. You also being the first lady justice that we've had here, the Chief Justice in the country. That is a good salutary effort that we've made as a country in that particular effort. And I was just inclined to wonder, why has the judiciary succeeded on gender inclusion? When we're looking at others, they're still struggling with this aspect of gender parity.
We always invite them to come to the judiciary and benchmark with the judiciary, because this has just happened in our lifetime, in the last 10, 15 years. For instance, when I joined the Court of Appeal in 2011, there was not a single woman in the Court of Appeal. There used to be 12 men, all of them, and nobody asked a question. In the same 2011, when the Judicial Service Commission was established under the Constitution, we had 3 men and 9. We had 3 women and 9 men, like we have today. Because
it is flipped. Yeah.
The shoe is on the other side. Nobody complained in 2011, but I had a little mamas in 2026 that Judicial Service Commission has only 3 men and 9 women. I reminded them that 2011 it was exactly like this, because these are elected positions. And it happened that CJ is a woman, the Attorney General is a woman. So there's nothing you can do about that, because in 2011, those positions were occupied by men. The CJ was a man, the Attorney General was a man. But now, it is the other way. So what is happening here is that we are implementing the Constitution, the two-third gender rule. We have no issue with it in the judiciary. And because women have served in the judiciary faithfully, they have worked here as magistrates, they have grown through the ranks. And when it comes to appointment of judges, they position themselves to be appointed. For instance, I was a judge, having served as an advocate for 15 years.
Yes.
I became a judge of the High Court for 9 years. I was a judge of the Court of Appeal for another 9 years. Then I applied for the Supreme Court and President of the Supreme Court and Chief Justice. So the cream, as they say, has come on top because of hard work, resilience, and being there when the opportunity allows. So we've been facilitated by our very, very progressive constitution that introduced affirmative action, that introduced the two-third gender rule. And those who are having difficulties in implementing that can come and benchmark with the judiciary. Because at the JSC, what we do, we have even a whole unit that deals with aspects of gender mainstreaming and inclusion to ensure that no one is left behind, that the imperatives of the Constitution in terms of gender mainstreaming and inclusion, including persons with disability, is taken care of in our recruitment. And we are very conscious about that when we are recruiting. That is why we ask at our interviews where the candidates come from, because we also want to have a regional balance. Yes.
Good. I wanted just to know, because I know as well that children are near and dear to you as well. Even when you're in the civil society, you're advocating, for the rights of children as well. Has Kenya become more child-friendly in delivering, of course, justice to children, from your own assessment?
We are struggling.
We're struggling.
But we are on the right trajectory. If we followed the Constitution, Article 43, of 53, sorry, and we followed the Children's Act, 2022, there should be no child who is out of school, especially primary school, because those rights are guaranteed in the Constitution. There should be no child who would go on the streets, because we have mechanisms to take care of all those children and take care of the vulnerable. So we are struggling in terms of the implementation of Article 53 and the Children's Act. If we did implement it properly, then we would even have very few children being brought in the justice system, because children are vulnerable. They need counsel, they need guidance, they need protection. And when they are neglected in one way or the other, that is why we are seeing, the kind of, disorder and indiscipline in our children that we are seeing today. Yeah, because the society has failed one way or the other.
You also, as the president of NCAJ, you tasked the Kenya Law Reform Commission with reviewing legal reform framework governing the protest and public order.
Yeah.
So I would just want to learn and, of course, hear from you, what lesson did those protests, teach the justice sector? Moving forward, then how do we make sure that also is shaken into place?
A big lesson.
A big lesson.
Because when you turn up in court as a judicial officer and you have 300 young people who have been charged before your courts for protests, destruction of property, all those charges that are related to protests, you are challenged because, first of all, where do you keep these people? Then you process them. Even if you give them bail or bond, it's also a challenge. Some of them cannot race. And then they have to end up in custody. And we're talking of one court, the prisons, the remands are all full. So how can we manage protest, which is a constitutional right guaranteed under Article 37? Is to manage protest in such a way that protesters can be able to go and make their protest and make their petitions, but without interrupting the operations or the livelihoods of others. So we must think deeply and see, because if you go to other countries, there are always protests. But there are designated areas where you protest.
Yes.
And they indicate even the time when they will go and protest. And they will go and protest and go home. But the kind of protest we have seen is that they are infiltrated by criminal elements who come to destroy. This court was destroyed. What has the court done? Is the last place where people can come and seek justice.
Indeed, yes.
Even the City Hall, Parliament, and many other private businesses were destroyed. The Gen Zs came out to protest and say their misgivings with the government. And that is around, but they were infiltrated completely. When the Gen Zs left their home to come and protest, none envisaged that they were going to be beaten, they were going to be killed in the melee that ensued. So as reasonable Kenyans, we just have to ask ourselves, how can we balance the provisions of Article 37 by ensuring that even our police are trained in crowd management? Because that has been a challenge. When they see crowds overwhelming them, start shooting, people start learning helter-skelter, others start rooting, and it all becomes a free-for-all. So we've been talking as NCAJ and saying the police need to train themselves on crowd management, but we have also seen that the protests that bring violence, suffering, and injuries is where there are political connotations. We've seen protests by doctors. They just come with their whatever sound mechanisms of talking roundly, saying what it is they want. They present their petitions, and they go home. We've seen teachers, we've seen professors, dons, university dons, protesting. Last Friday, we saw lawyers also protesting. There was no violence. They just go, air their views, present their petitions, do their protests, and go home. But wherever there are political connotations, then it is mayhem. It is violence, it's death. And we have to say no to that. The other day, you heard me say that there are only about 1,800 politicians who earn a living out of politics. And any protest that has political connotations is the one that is violent. So why should these people, 1,800, own over 50 million Kenyans at ransom? We must find a way of saying they must do their politics, but they should not interrupt the lives of ordinary Kenyans.
Indeed.
Who want to go to work, children want to go to school, people want to go and do their business, either in the markets or wherever they have their businesses, but they should not be interrupted because there are political campaigns going on. So this is why we should manage it.
Indeed, of which I'm wondering then, is it part of a conversation also you do have as NCAJ, the flash of interest that we've seen also with Goonism? Maybe you can just highlight that, because I think also that is becoming such a niggling worry for the country as it is. You as a CJ, and of course now as the president also of NCAJ, how then is this being tackled from your assessment, briefly?
Indeed, there's an agenda which is before NCAJ.
Okay.
We received a report from the Crime Research Center that there are high numbers of gangs, criminal gangs, that are formed almost every day by the politicians. If they want to go to a meeting, they are accompanied by goons so that when they speak, they cheer them. When their opponent is speaking, they jeer them and bull them, and they are there for now violence because everybody has a gun. So we teased that out as a major challenge, the mushrooming of criminal gangs that are affiliated to various politicians and that are on pay. That report which we received said there were over 600 criminal gangs all over the country. And they increase by the day. I believe now they could be 1,000. So it is worrisome.
It is worrisome.
And, you know, we rely on the police to arrest them and charge them. But the problem with this kind of criminal activity is that I think it's just overwhelming even to the police to collect evidence and bring evidence to court because of the sheer numbers. So they have to employ other methods. They have intelligence, they know who these people are, and they can be prevented even before they have happened. Looking
at the children, and I wanted just to bring it close home to the Mwananchi, what is the impact of the tremendous transformation in the judiciary on the local Mwananchi seeking justice?
Access, because like if you're talking about an ordinary businesswoman or a man, small business, SMEs basically, what they call mama boga, if somebody owes you a debt of, you know, you have supplied goods, even 200,000, you know that can impact badly on the life of a small SME. So the small claims court is available. The turnaround period is 60 days. And they can go to court. It's simplified. You just file your papers and file your evidence, and you get your judgment, you get your decree. The other one is the court annexed mediation, where we have helped thousands of families, especially family disputes. You know, they break families, they break relationships. So now we have enabled them to mediate their own problem, like succession. Families just used to go to court and wait for years for their cases to be determined. Now we straight away refer them for mediation, because the biggest problem is that when people get these disputes, they don't talk to each other. So the mediators are helping them to speak to each other, find out what is your problem. And we have solved thousands of cases in succession and restored relationships and harmony in the community. We are also doing that in land disputes, especially boundary disputes and the contracts. The court annexed mediation is really a game changer. How about the alternative justice system, where we train the communities themselves to deal with their own problems within the communities, except for the sexual and gender-based violence, which is a no-off zone for mediation or alternative justice system. But communities are coming together, and even before these matters come to court, they resolve, and they are just bringing us the agreement for us to adopt as the court. Another time, they are even taking the decree of the court to the mediators to help them now resolve. The court has decided, and there's a decree, but instead of going to auctioneers to bring the hammer down on your neighbor or your business partner or whoever it is you're under contract with, They bring it to the mediators or they take it to the AJS, and then they find an amicable solution. I'll pay you in 2 installments. I'll do like this. They greet each other, and they are resolving very, very many matters like that. Yeah.
And we've heard, of course, of wananchi becoming greatly shy because they think the alternative justice maybe is a pressure for the lawyers.
Yes.
So maybe you can clarify, if I want to maybe become a mediator, what are the channels I should actually use for me to be,
you actually
verified?
Free.
Yes, I'm free.
You are free to go for
Is there any limit? Is it any qualification that yes?
Really, you must have some basics, like being able to communicate.
Okay.
And for you to be registered in the college or the accreditation bodies that have been accredited to train mediators. So first of all, you must be able to express yourself either in English or Swahili, because those are the business languages that we use for the mediators. And for you to be able to write the agreement, you must be literate. You are able to facilitate, because mediation, you don't go into the merit of the matter. It is the parties themselves who discuss what is our problem. The mediator just guides them, and then eventually they agree, and the mediator reduces it into writing. They sign, and they take it to the court. So you must have those abilities to read and write and to communicate, and for you to be trained and to undertake that certification course for mediation. It is offered at Strathmore University and a few other universities, I think even Mount Kenya. Many universities now and colleges and institutions that have been accredited are offering that course, a mediation course. Yes.
But how inclusive is it even for the other abled, people who have these challenges with, disabilities, and they feel like they want to partake, in this particular course?
We have many.
You do?
We have many persons differently abled who have been accredited as mediators, because they have all those skills. They can speak, they can write, they can read. They are not excluded. And we have several of them, and they are doing an amazing job.
Okay.
Yes.
So finally, as we are bringing this to a close, you mentioned, of course, the gender-based violence. And we can see that has been also a very sensitive issue in this country. The rise of it, the femicide that has been ongoing, tracking back to your history also with FIDA, you've been advocating, for the rights of women. I don't know if it gives you sleepless nights at night, seeing we are in such a place that we are today, and what you have actually advocated before.
Indeed it is.
It does.
It is worrisome, because the issues of sexual gender-based violence look like they are escalating. I was looking back today, 14th July 2006, 20 years ago, that is when the Sexual Offences Act was enacted.
Yes.
In fact, there's a caption in today's papers that highlights Justice Joaquin Dongo having carried that bill in Parliament. She was the proposer of the Sexual Offences Act, and she was being congratulated for seeing it through enactment. It's a good law. It's very serious. It has very serious sentences for the perpetrators of sexual offenses. But 20 years, I'm looking back and I'm like, it's like we don't have a law, because the cases are escalating. The other day you hear of children, 2 6-year-olds, who have just gone out of their mother's house to pray outside, and 2-3 hours later they are found sexually molested and dead in gunning bags. The cases of femicide, the number of young women being thrown out of apartments, it is endemic, it is systemic, it is spread out, it is unacceptable. But this is a war that cannot be won by the judiciary alone.
Indeed.
Because we sit to wait for those perpetrators to be arrested and be arraigned in courts and be prosecuted. And our work is to judge whether they are guilty or not. We need is it called a whole society approach or a whole government approach to deal with issues of sexual gender-based violence. As a judiciary, we felt we needed to have even specialized courts. And therefore, we highlighted the courts where there are many cases of this nature, of sexual gender-based violence. And we have established 13 gender justice courts throughout some counties.
Okay.
If we had resources, we would have in all the 47 counties, but we are moving there slowly. I think soon we'll be opening 2, one in Roiro and another one in Busia. So, but what we do in those courts is we train, or a multi-sectoral approach in training. We train the police so that they gather proper evidence and ensure we have witnesses during the hearing. Those witnesses, if they are available, we try to expedite them, give them priority. So if you're a witness, we don't want to tire you by giving you summonses to keep coming to court. When you appear, we make sure we take your evidence. So the courts are giving priority to those cases. We have registries that for that particular offense, and we have file cover orange that screams at you that this needs priority. So we are trying to expedite, but there is low reporting because people face many challenges. You can imagine you have to pay your own transport to go to the police station to record, to complain. Sometimes police will tell you they don't even have means to go and do investigations to arrest the perpetrator. You have to fuel their car. I mean, there are many challenges. I keep saying, this is our country. We really have to make it safe for everybody to exist, especially for our children. Can you imagine the number of children who have been victims of defilement? And when I listen, I hear people complaining, we have so many young men who have been incarcerated for sexual offenses. Probably it is true there are many, but there are so many victims who are children, who are destroyed also, because some of them, the offense was so heinous, the defilement, you can't tell their private parts, whether it's the front or the back. But when the perpetrator has been sentenced and they are serving their sentence, you know, they go in a structured prison where they undertake education. If you are not finished your primary school or secondary, you are enabled to finish, which is okay. They go on vocational training. Some have even trained and obtained degrees, including LLB. There are many lawyers in Kamete and Naivasha and Shimoratewa, because universities do virtual trainings for them, and they qualify. But I wonder, those are the ones, because they are statistics, we can see them as data. How about the victims? Because for each one of them serving a sentence, there was a victim.
Indeed.
What happened to that victim? A child who was 6 years suffered that trauma. Nobody followed them with counseling, with trauma-informed counseling that can enable them settle, adjust, and live a normal life. So we really have to come together as a society and say, let us not be like this fisherman who sits at the end of the river and the fish is coming dead downstream, coming upstream, dead. Let's see what is killing the fish up there. Why are we having this kind of disrespect? Indeed. Where somebody just sees somebody's young daughter or a young son, and they descend on them to defile them or to sodomize them. This is a human being.
Quite unfortunate.
Our
Quite
constitution
unfortunate.
is about respect.
Indeed.
For the dignity of one another.
Right.
When you see another, you respect them.
Indeed.
You don't hurt them. So this is why we need a whole society approach, from our families, communities, places of worship, to the places where we work, to the marketplaces, to make them safe.
Thank you.
And secure for everybody.
Right. Just looking at the 5 years you've been in office, has the office changed you, or you have changed the office? What is this one message you'll want to tell Kenyans as we're closing? Just one brief, very brief message as we're closing.
The office of the Chief Justice has changed. It has also changed the judiciary in the many things that we have done, but I, as a person, I have not changed. I am still the same person, committed to deliver justice to Kenyans, and inviting Kenyans, all of us, to become champions of justice, because like I said in the beginning, justice is a lived reality, and it is for all of us to work towards that by making the space where we live a space of respect for one another. If we respect one another, then you will find that there is peace and harmony in all our places of work, in our homes, and in our marketplaces.
Thank you. Honorable Chief Justice Martha Koome, thank you so much for graciously consenting to speak to TV47. Looking back at the 5 years back, and you're doing a good salutary effort and good job for the country as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Really
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, that has been a very immersive conversation with the Lady Justice, Chief Justice Martha Koome, just giving us a stock of how the 5 years has been since she assumed office. Thank you for your valued company.
All right, thank you so much, Debarl, Inea, right there. And it is time for the game, sports.